Hi and welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the Inked Sisterhood YouTube channel. I am Wangari Kemboy and this is episode 2 of Motherhood and Riding. And we are still here at the Out Bike Gear. This is on AMG Center along Thika Road. So one of us, that is Michelle, has gladly hosted us in this lovely place. And apart from that, we even had breakfast.
Yeah, we are sorted.
We are satisfied.
And the other thing is, I am just feeling like I want to take everything.
I know.
It's so tempting.
Look at the jackets. I was just told I love summer jackets. I want to pick up one and go with it too.
So this is part 2 of Motherhood and Riding. And for you who haven't watched that other episode, please go back. So we'll reintroduce ourselves, just in case so that you feel like you're not talking to strangers, or rather you're not watching strangers. As I have said, I am Wangari Kemboy. I have been riding actively for about a year now. I ride a JC 180 and I'm joined by
Shaba Njage. I have been riding for a year since now I became a mom. I had to stop a bit. And I ride Suzuki Jigsaw.
And I'm Tasneem. I ride an NK250. Been riding for about 2 years now.
Yeah, okay. So we've been talking about pregnancy, motherhood, the fact that they had to take a break. But we have always to take a break when you get pregnant, and we've just been sharing about the journey, the motherhood journey, and the pregnancy journey. And part 2 is actually want to find out how soon after the pregnancy or how soon after the kids are able to get back, and if they have not gotten back, they need to tell us why. And also would like to get to hear about the challenges about going back on the road. I mean, with ladies, there's some physical features. We change. This motherhood changes.
Oh my goodness.
Right, yeah.
Tell me about
You
it.
are like 1 MB, and then motherhood comes and like, what? 5 MB or 5 GB or something. So, like some of those challenges, you had both fitting gear and you're back on the road and you cannot even close that riding jacket, zip it up.
Tell me about that one. I know that feeling of a zip bursting on your leg.
Or even just balancing the weight. So how soon did you go back into riding, and what were the challenges have you faced? You are the lucky few who got a baby, and after the baby you're like, there's no difference.
Like nothing happened.
I wish, don't I wish?
I am planning to go back to riding in May. Which is like
tomorrow.
Which is like
tomorrow.
Yes. So there's this ride I've been eyeing, and I've been telling my husband I really want to do it, and he's like, let's do it then. So I really want to, but there are certain feelings I have been going through. Like this morning I was telling myself, I can't wait to get back on the road. No, how will I tell these people to take care of of me on the road because I have a baby now? Like, should I go to Outbike and tell them, please print for me,
Mother,
baby at home. Be careful, These kind of things are on my mind. Like, how can I be super duper safe, extra safe on the road? I tried my jacket the other day, and
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing.
I'm just like and I'm just like. So it's like, these things are not cheap. They're not cheap. So I've been thinking. So now, what does it mean for me? Like, probably getting a new jacket and investing in that as well. So there's so much on my mind, but it's not going to stop me from getting back on the road. So yeah.
So do you still feel nervous? Like, have you done any rides at all, even in this week?
Can I tell you?
Not even. Okay.
I have been doing it in my mind, like starting the bike in my mind. But now this week is when we are planning to do some confidence rides.
And that's the good thing about being humans. There's that thing called muscle memory.
The
You
muscle
think you've
memory.
forgotten until you
And
get
then you
on
get
it.
back.
Like, I think the first few seconds you'll be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then once you actually get going, you realize it's not that bad. Then I think for me what helped me is cutting myself some slack, where don't expect yourself to be that rider you were before you got on the bike, because you haven't been on it. If you forget to change your gear, it's okay. If you stall the bike, it's also okay. Don't feel silly, because you put pressure on yourself that I'll look silly if I do this. If I do that, I'll look silly, because you haven't done it in a while, and maybe before you never did it. I mean, you are perfectly, smooth on your bike, suddenly you might be a bit shaky because you have so much emotion. I think the emotional part is also there because you're thinking about baby, you're thinking about safety, you're thinking about the other person who might not see you, because you have so many things now to be careful about except just you. And I think that just cut yourself slack, I think.
And I think, I remember when, as I shared, for me, I got into riding after motherhood because of the many hours spent in traffic. And since I have 2 boys, and I don't know whether it's a myth or it's true, I don't know about girls, but boys can can really bring you off. So
it's not a myth.
It's not a myth. It's not. So I had to exclusively breastfeed. Plus, that means I had to express a lot of, at least about 600 or more ml per day.
Wow.
And you see, I was not even caging. I used to use a matatu. And before motherhood, you just carry your usual handbag. But after motherhood, now you have to carry. You have actually, in fact, they joke. There's this meme about breastfeeding moms when they go back to work. You have this huge bag because you have a snack. You still have to keep eating healthy. You have the milk bags. You have to express. And for some of us who were not really privileged to have fridge at work, a refrigerator at work, you have to carry a cooler box or improvise. These dishes can police.
So so to put
and an ice pack
so that the milk
stays. Does that change? I'm wondering, even for those who are watching, did it change for you now because your top box has to carry milk stuff and lots of? Was it different for you, or now because you are?
For me, that was why I didn't get on the bike, because of the baby breastfeeding and the baby. I think, it was of every time you want to go and you hear your baby crying, you made a plan to go, and then the minute you get back into the house with the baby, that 15 minutes you thought you would take becomes the whole day, and you're like, there goes another day. Okay, tomorrow is there. And for me, that tomorrow ended up being 2 years. When I finally just mentioned. And then even that, when I got back on the bike because of the kids, it would only be that once in a while where there's a group ride going, I'll join the ride, go for it. Then at some point, there was a day I'm a doctor, so I do home visits. Now, because I'm doing home visits, I have to go from, it doesn't matter where the patient is. So sometimes I'm in Parklands and I have to go all the way to Karen. And at that point, they were still doing the construction of the express. So the traffic was, every time you hear you have to go across anywhere, you're like, do I really want to go anywhere? I'll just sit in the house. So I'm like, okay, I went to see the patient. I had to pick my kids from school. That time I'm traffic, I'm looking at the traffic, I'm like, oh my God, I'm making, you're trying to think about work, you're trying to think about home, you're trying to think about having cooked the meals. Hubby is too far to be able to go pick them. And I'm like, crap, I'm making calls trying to figure out who's picking my kids because I can't make it back. Then when I got home, I just sat with Hubby and I'm like, there's a bike outside. If I was on that, because I saw 3 or 4 bikes passing me, and I'm like, gosh, I know how to ride. Why am I killing myself sitting in this? My kids need me. I need me. I need sanity in my life. My patients need me. Why am I not? Why am I killing myself? Because I have a fear of riding in traffic. Because I hadn't been doing. I only do long distance. I've done Mombasa. I've done Nakuru. You see, that's the part that nobody understands. That you ride all this, but you don't ride every day. Why don't you just commute with your bike?
And actually, riding in traffic is another skill that you
learn.
Because riding slow,
trust me, when I started doing it, and that's when I got, I started from Michelle, I got the bag, because I put my equipment in it, and I'm like, you know what, it's fine, image is fine, but I need to get, at least I'm getting to you, I'm not calling and cancelling my appointments. And for you, like you said, mommyhood got you to ride. For me, being a mommy and being a working mom is why now I started riding on a more regular basis. There are times I'll just see the traffic and be like, you know what, okay, drop the car, pick the bike. I'll still be back in time to be able to change cars and everything and go pick the kids rather than going with the car and trying to beat this space out.
So the other day, let me say something to that. So the other day, I just got back to work two and a half weeks ago. And so it's been crazy. I can imagine. So the commute, because I go to the office once a day or I go when needed. So it happened this week actually that I had to be off-site one day in the office and another day I had to have a meeting outside. And there's a day I didn't sleep at night.
Oh gosh.
I just woke up, I was tired. And my husband was riding to work. And I just told him, can I... Just pillion me. Just pillion me. You just drop me. Even if you drop me close to my office is fine. Or just drop me to the office. So it's like, sure, no problem. And then when I started thinking what is needed for
you to
me
so
that I can get to the office, I'm like, I need my handbag, my laptop bag, my milk bag, you know, and
then on top of that you have to gear up,
and I have to gear up, and when I'm on his bike, we can't use the panniers.
So you have to have everything on your back. On top
I have to have
everything
everything on my back, and that was gonna be even more uncomfortable. So I just said, okay, fine, I'll drive. And now I started thinking, now when I get back to riding, at least when I have my bike, I can have my pannier and I can have my top box. So these are the things we have to think about.
I just have a question for guys who are watching. How do we deal with this guilt? You know, for me, I'm still the guilt, mommy guilt. Still, I want to do, like, there's so many rides that I'll not end up going for. I'll have committed, I'll have said I'm going. Then in the morning you wake up, your kid has a fever. Or kid is just having those moments of, I'm just going to hold on to you. And then you're like, I'm making my baby cry for my own
like
and then at that point you'll give
yourself
all the hard work, selfish pleasure. I just want to go. I have a responsibility. Which mother does this to their child? You know, you start, all those things are in your head, and you're like, gosh. Then you just look at that group, and you're like, I'm sorry.
I can't make it.
And then at that time when you're pressing that send, but that, you know, you're feeling now pain there. Then you feel, look at the baby and see if I just ignore this and just go in. You even try, like the days I've actually put my boots gone in, then I can hear that banter, then I turn, I look, and I'm like, I can't, I just can't do this. How I mean, anyone, have you gone through it? You know, you're about to go through it.
I am listening. I'm just here taking notes.
Maybe you'll be back here to tell us about the experience, like a part 3 or something. I wouldn't know, but because for me it was more of mommy driven because of the many hours. But yes, even when you want to do the rides, like I know last year there were quite a number of ish events, and honestly, for one, I was just told by my hubby, I support you, but this time, no. The December one, like I can't. Like, you've been away because we had, I think, the AGM, and
there's just constantly something.
Then there was the big Teen Remembrance Day in November. So there's that one Saturday that we are all in the house and you want to go for a ride. Yes, it makes you happy because that's our go-to when you want to relax. Yes. But then again, there's a family bit and you're like,
no.
Trying to find that balance sometimes is challenging.
So sometimes you'll feel like, you know the way.
But like I know that I went through that, because then what I end up doing is I go for half the thing and then I leave early. Then even when you're leaving, you're pulling yourself that I need to go. You feel, because now you're in the moment, you're having such a good time, and you have to be the one who's leaving where everyone is still.
But also another thing I've done, like also when guys are going to Isinya, we did breakfast with them. And then I rode part of the way where we parted ways. And
then you come back.
So that's kind of helps instead of just letting it go. No, I won't go.
You take a bit of, you just make do with what you get. And
maybe I won't be away all day.
But
maybe I could do a ride between now and then. Wow, lots of
planning. We need to be sane also.
We do. I think the things I've learned is it's not selfish to think about yourself sometimes. But again, like you're saying, there will be a point where you don't realize, like, you know, then it becomes, I want to do it all the time. Then you have to choose. So you have to then, I mean, it's sad that you have to constantly be choosing. You can't just do everything. Those are the times you envy people who are like, whenever you see them, they're off somewhere. When I want to be there, then you're like, okay, choose the battle kind of thing.
These kids grow. You know, by the time they're getting to teenagehood, maybe, sometimes they don't really want to hang out with you every other time.
Sometimes I think from the people I have who have kids who are teenagers, I think they never want to hang out with you. They never want you.
So you have a very small window of spending some time with them, and you're like, okay, I can just give up this one.
That hit home right now. Thanks. So I think sometimes you need to be reminded.
You just remind for a short space of time. And when they join school, it's even the time is even
just the holidays. I mean, the other time they're in school.
Thank God for the 7 weeks holiday for us who are doing this other system. So at least they get to be home. So maybe yes, we've talked about mothers, and there may be mothers to be who are probably on a break or who want to get into riding, but they're so scared. And maybe what advice would we give them? And even for those who are pregnant, and I think it's important for us to mention, maybe as a doctor you can tell us, I know we've kind of deviated away from the question, but it's really important to find out, why can't we ride when we're pregnant?
I think You see, with pregnancy, it's not that you can't ride, the risk.
It's a risk.
And then you see, it's like even with pregnancy, sometimes they'll tell you not to take long distance rides, depending on the, like for you, you see, you were told it's not safe for you because that movement, the position, you see, remember, your body is, your uterus is supposed to be this size, literally there. Now suddenly it's that size. So you have all that weight on you, your back, your bones. There's so much, your mind. I think even your mind, I don't know, maybe you
and like I remember my experience.
That mind space you're in when you're
the whole
pregnant.
time,
And you're geared up by
When
and now
they-
you can add the safety. I think it's even safety for you, not medically only, but the safety side of the person riding, and also the impact of the bumps. You see, in the car you're safer. You're cushioned. On a bike there's no cushioning for you. It's a lot higher risk. It's like just
So
the same thing as eating sushi when you're pregnant. I mean, don't eat sushi. I mean, you can. It's not going to kill you. But if something went wrong, the chances of it being really bad for baby
really high.
Because even sometimes, even traveling when you're pregnant, even in a car, sometimes you're kind of told to not to do certain distances, to bumpy roads. So it's not that I've heard of moms like,
especially
one
in
of
the
us was
early
supposed to join us actually. Rode until she was about 5 months, but for her it was very short distances.
So it's safe, smooth. There's no, but you see the bumps. If you fell, I mean, the chance of falling off a bike and falling off a car. Let's be. You've got to. I don't know how you fall out of the car, but okay, I can probably do something like that.
So for moms who actually want to get back on the road, what advice do you ladies have for them?
Well, I will then come back and tell you whether it worked for me. But this is what I am doing. Okay. I am preparing myself mentally. So I started thinking about it when I started feeling ready to get back on the road. I was affirming myself. I was encouraging myself. My husband has also been very encouraging. Just been like, the day you decide you want to get back on the road, let me know. We will go together. So that's very encouraging. Just finding the right support system. One of the things I plan to do is also take advantage of confidence riding, having that mentor. If someone has said it's okay, we will come and ride with you from your house to where we are meeting, I will take up that offer. So I think when your friends, family who are riding offer their support, take it. And then do it when you're ready. I will not do it if I'm not feeling. That's why I was saying, when you're saying you might cage next week, and then next week I want to ride, and then the day before I feel like,
I think that
I don't think I can
catching
get
yourself. That's like that pressure.
I will not.
Yourself under.
I will not get on it, and then just get back when you're ready. That is what I plan to do.
Okay. I think for me, what I'd say is, as you want to get back onto the bike, or if you've never been on, for me, you see, I've never been on one, and then I had my baby. There's, we keep saying there's always time, and before you know it, time just goes, and then you realize every time you want to do something, a new thing will keep, especially when you have kids, there's always something unexpected that comes up. So if it's something you want to do, find that time, find that balance, because when you're balanced, you're a better mom.
Right.
You're a better caregiver, you're a better wife, you're a better everything.
Yeah.
And just those few moments of giving yourself something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And if this is what you really want, if you've never ridden particularly, and now you're happening to say, okay, I'm going to start next month, and you find yourself bang pregnant.
Yeah.
So don't feel miserable about it, because you know what, the pregnancy is 9 months.
Yeah.
In the I find what helped me not give up on that thing of I want to ride is I keep watching the videos, watching people ride, just keep yourself
with them.
Even if you can just go, join the groups that are going, because I think most of Ish doesn't have a problem with cages. In fact, we like it when we have cages, because they keep us safe as well. So, having that, keep yourself in that loop so that you don't lose the hope. Because it's not the interest that goes, it's the hope that goes, that will never happen. Yeah. And if you keep yourself there, you realize baby will grow. Yeah. That time will come, and you will do it, and it will just flow. But you have to remind yourself that this is, otherwise it becomes the shelved dream. So when you're 70, you'll be like, once upon a time, I wanted to ride.
And take advantage of community. That's one of the things that has really been supportive. Like the whole time I was away on my maternity leave, I was always on the WhatsApp groups. Maybe I wasn't saying much on the group because, things are, but I was always so entertained in the ish group. You know, fun people saying funny things, people sending photos of what they're up to, and that kept me engaged, that kept me excited. And so if you're thinking about getting back on the road or getting on the road if you've never been, just know there's a community. Ish is there and maybe others as well. And they could support you in that journey as well. And also training, I can tell you for a fact, like before I started riding, I didn't know that there was a place I can go and actually be trained on how to ride. I remember I just walked at VM and one day I found one of these bike companies selling bikes. And then I just went to the lady who was there and I asked her, do you know if they teach women how to ride bikes? She's like, yeah, here's a number. And that's how I got to meet Beach and Kina Malibu. So even if you're a mom and you'd like to do this and you've never done it before, there are trainers out there who are amazing. And it means you can start even without a bike. I started without a bike.
Even I started without a bike. And you know what the best part about having the right trainer, like you're saying, is that, there's always this, I don't know, maybe it comes from my culture, I'm not sure. Maybe it's also the same everywhere else. Where when you talk about two wheels, and then worse yet, in being a lady, there's always, you have a family, it's not safe. And my argument would constantly be like, the chances of me having an accident in a car or a bike are the same. It's the road. An accident, I could be just standing outside my gate and somebody cannot see me and come in. Without even being in a vehicle. If an accident is to be, it will be. And that's fate, unfortunately. But when you go to train the right way, I mean, that's something I bless. I'm really, really grateful for. But when you're being trained the right way, you'll be taught about safety before you even get on that bike. I remember my trainer said, fine, I'm teaching you theory, but until you guys don't buy your helmets, I'm not going to even let you use my bike. I'd rather you don't have a bike but get your gear first, and then the bike will come in its own time.
Fantastic.
And I think that safety side, if you have a partner who's not supportive, or who's not supportive but is scared about it, I mean, it's not called not supportive, they love you enough, they're just scared to lose you.
Actually, a big number of guys or ladies who are not riding, it's because their spouses are like, no, I can't let you.
We're worried about, and it's not coming from a bad place, but if you can give them that assurance that you're riding safe, you're keeping yourself as safe as you can, and that kind of, if that takes the fear away from being on a bike, then I hope
do it.
Remember, it's there, it's an available
and
option.
Also start buying gear. I learned that even if you're going to ride in 2023 or something, start buying gear early. And not to put down, just to kind of emphasize on the training. I went to a driving school, and not to put it down, but from that experience, there's a difference.
There's a big difference.
You'll just pay the extra, but get the best. So you'd rather go for a trainer, because you see, unfortunately, you're not trained by bikers.
You're just trained to. You're trained how to move the bike.
But I'm still learning so much, because there's cornering, there's braking, there's so much.
There's how to, for me, it's the biggest is how to keep yourself safe, because you see, you can't control what the other person on the road's going to do. But when you go to the right trainer, they teach you how to anticipate what you're going to do to keep yourself from getting hurt, no matter who's at fault.
So that's it. So we have our final question, which is kind of not related to motherhood but riding. Or even as a mother, maybe you can tell us what will be your ultimate riding achievement, even if it's small. Like for me, honestly, because we have two offices in Gong Road and Athi River, I think for me right now, I would want to conquer two roads, Mombasa Road and Jogo Road. And I'd want to no, imagine, but you've been riding. I have been riding this other part of town, the Cody Road, mention it, a bit of Thika Road, but Mombasa Road just gives me the creeps. I think because I still feel my speed is not up to the limit.
High enough.
And then high enough to be fast enough to be on a highway. And then there was also construction at some point, so I was like,
the road keeps changing.
So the road keeps changing, and I'm like, but I still hope one day. I've done only Mombasa Road once, but I would like to do it soon, or start with Jogo Road, because that's closer for me, and face this crazy matatus. I think that's for me, that's the ultimate one.
For me, ultimate at this moment, like short term. Let me say short term. Just get back on the bike. Like, can I get back on the bike and arrive where I'm going and then get back to the house safely? That's number one. Number two is I would love to conquer Mombasa Road 2ST. And you know what? If the expressway will be there, even better. But I'd like to conquer that, because that way, and on my own, At the moment, when I was riding before I got pregnant, I was always on the road with someone. I was always on the road with my husband.
Okay.
I was always on the road. And, there was always. So I would love to be able to conquer the road on my own, go to the office on my own, go to my staff on my own. That's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
Okay. And for
I
you?
think for me, I think I have two challenges. One is every time I see, a bumpy road, I see rocks, I freeze. So even like with this construction happening, I got over that fear of riding the highways. I finally managed.
Yay.
Thank you, God. I somehow have managed. But every time I see a rough patch of road, for a minute I freeze, and I'm like, then half the time I'm like, okay, I'll just put my feet down and water myself through it and then get past it. So I'm like, I need to get past that space. In fact, I did an off-road challenge, but I did it at the wrong time. I was fasting, so it wasn't the best time to do it.
Tired.
But my ultimate challenge is to be able to just handle I don't want to be scared of the road, irrespective of the bike, because it's a skill.
Yes.
Once you have that confidence, it comes.
Yeah.
And my other ultimate challenge is to be able to just constantly just take the bike and go wherever I need to, even if it's to see a patient at night, like where I'm not worried about it doesn't matter what's around me. Like let it be my constant mode of transport to save me the energy.
I would love that as well.
Okay. Those are my goals.
So we will keep you guys accountable. We need to hear this.
Please.
Once you achieve one day.
Please, fill us. I mean, the group is always there for stories, and yes, I will definitely. The storyteller will definitely tell you when we have achieved this. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching, and thank you so much for your support, especially for those who are supporting moms who are riding.
Yes, for sure.
Not to name the single ladies, but as you've heard, it's quite a task for us to be back on the road and even riding with family and kids and everything. So thank you so much for your support, and we also appreciate our mothers. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day.
To all the mothers.
And for husbands for making us mothers.
Yes.
And for your support too, Manze, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And once again for Alp Bike Gear for offering your space. And our sponsors, Apple kwa Camera. So thank you very much. Please subscribe and share.
Yeah.
Hiya, bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Michelle, and this is my shop, Alp Bike Gear. We are located at AMG Center next to Roasters Hotel on Thika Road, exit 7. Welcome. I sell helmets and jackets and gloves and all the riding accessories and apparel. Feel free to also follow my page, Alp Bike Gear, on Instagram, where you can see all the products that I have in the shop.